Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has one of the largest rosters of fighters from any fighting game to date. The base game had everything from a classic swordsman to a modern military man and even the death of the universe. And the DLC has given us so much representation from popular franchises all across the world. But I think we all know what this game is missing. Another fucking Fire Emblem character. Ever since the introduction of DLC fighters in Smash 4, they've been some of the most highly anticipated announcements of any game in recent history. Everyone remembers where they were when Cloud and Bayonetta were revealed, as well as when they immediately ran to Google after Hero was announced. So far, we've been graced with 4 fantastic DLC fighters whom no one probably saw coming. We know we will be getting a 5th DLC fighter revealed very soon, or they may already be available by the time this video is released. But at the reveal of Terry Bogard, it was announced that more DLC fighters beyond the Fighters Pass are being developed, which was a shock to many people. We have no idea how many more fighters are currently being worked on, and literally all we know is that it's at least 2 since they did say fighters with an S. However, it's pretty safe to assume close to around the same amount as Fighters Pass 1 will be released, so around 5 more fighters. So today, I'm going to be covering who I believe are the 5 most likely fighters to be revealed for Fighters Pass 2. These aren't my 5 most wanted, but just who I believe have the best chance to be added as DLC. I'll also cover a few Echo fighters and honorable mentions who either I really want or just think would make a lot of sense even if they are super unlikely. So with all of that out of the way, let's try to predict Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighter Pass 2. One of the biggest factors the development team seems to be taking into account when deciding on potential DLC fighters is a combination of fan request and how iconic the video game character actually is. Like Hero is incredibly popular in Japan, Banjo is most popular in North America, and Terry has always had a strong Latin American presence. So I could just try to find the most popular character from somewhere like Australia, but I'm not sure Sakurai wants to add Kangaroo Jack. The way Nintendo has been giving representation to characters not on Nintendo consoles, there are a few obvious candidates that are heavily requested. And if you've been on my channel since 2018, you'd know I said this character would not be in Smash Ultimate, but I have had a severe change of heart ever since Banjo was revealed. He was always my meme character saying if Banjo can get in, then anyone can. But the character who I now almost expect to be added is Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Yes, I know he is technically owned by Disney, just like the rest of the world, and yes, I know Disney is a corporate monster who won't share the spotlight with anyone, but with all the requests Sora has gotten over the years, he should at the very least get a spirit or something. Sora could have one of the most unique movesets in the game, even though the casual player would probably just see him as another sword fighter. Of course, his main combat would revolve around his Keyblade, but there are so many other things they could do other than just slashing it back and forth. Plus, they could add some of his magic attacks to make him stand out even more. And if they want to get really crazy, just make his final smash him, Goofy, and Donald Duck beating the shit out of your opponent. That would instantly make him my main. If we go back to the idea of icons of gaming getting representation in Smash, then Crash Bandicoot is another obvious choice. He was one of Mario's biggest competitors during the 90s, and everyone remembers the classic commercial of him basically saying "F you" to the Nintendo headquarters. But Crash has already made his way to the Switch with the Insane trilogy, which was already ridiculous enough after their history. They've obviously come a long way now allowing Crash games to be playable on a Nintendo console, and he deserves a spot in Smash as a PlayStation rep. They already have multiple games to develop a moveset from and could add so much to the game with all of his kicks, punches, and weird tornado swings that no other character currently has. And I honestly just want to be able to pit Mario, Sonic, and Crash all against each other in a fight so little childhood Evan can have some closure over who is truly the best. Also, I don't know if this is true or not, but I have read some articles about the rumors of an actual brand new Crash game being developed after how well the Insane trilogy was received. So that would be another reason for him to be added, to help give publicity to him, which could in turn promote sales, especially if it's on the Switch. Of all the characters I have on this list, Crash is probably the one I am the most confident in just because of how much of a popular classic gaming icon he really is. Now, I know I joked earlier that we don't need any more Fire Emblem characters, and I know I have been known as a Fire Emblem hater, but that was before I played Three Houses and I turned over a new leaf. You can probably guess who I'm going to say after that, and of course it would be Byleth, the main character from that game. But, and I need to throw this caveat in here, I want this character to be essentially a new version of Pokemon Trainer. Before your head explodes for me making no damn sense, let me try to explain. I want a fighter that lets you switch between Byleth and the 3 leaders of the 3 houses, Dimitri, Edelgard, and sexy-ass Claude. All of them can play completely differently using their hero relics of the Sword of the Creator, Eridbar, Amir, and Feelnaught respectively. I probably mispronounced all of those and I am sorry. This could add so many new ways to fight because yes, we do have a ton of sword fighters, but the Sword of the Creator is completely different with it being able to extend and retract like a slinky sword. Probably doesn't sound very intimidating, but don't test me. And we don't have a single character that uses a spear or an axe, and even though Pit does use a bow mainly, it's not as prominent as Claude would be. I know I am asking for a lot, and they would most likely add just Byleth with maybe the 3 showing up in their final smash, which I would still be totally okay with. Byleth definitely isn't the most overwhelmingly requested fighter, but they are still super popular in Japan and deserve a chance to shine from being from the best Fire Emblem game ever. Yeah, I said it. And also, people always say we don't need more Fire Emblem characters when there is not even the most prominent franchise behind Mario and Pokemon. They can have 1 or 2 more. Also, so can The Legend of Zelda since it's the best video game franchise of all time, but that's neither here nor there. Alright, so the last 2 fighters I have in mind are by far the craziest and most out of left field ideas that I currently have, so let's start with the more reasonable of the 2. Steve from Minecraft. Oh yeah, we're gonna get fucking weird. I know what you're thinking. We don't need another sword fighter, but that is the simplest and most closed-minded way to possibly look at this. If you want to completely disregard me as an idiot for this idea, I'm surprised you didn't do that before this, to be honest. You have to remember, this is about icons of gaming, and there is no denying that Minecraft might be the overall biggest game over the past decade. People love to just throw Minecraft away as a kid's game, but that doesn't take away from the impact it has had on the video game industry since its introduction. Everyone always says they want an open world adventure. Well, Minecraft is literally an open world game where you can do anything that you want. And it deserves representation with its main character, Steve. Also, yes, his name is actually Steve. I've heard of people thinking that was a joke, but no, it's actually the real deal. I bet Mojang, or however the hell you pronounce it, just made the whole game before thinking about naming him and then just picked a name out of the hat and went with it. Steve could bring so much to the table using all the different items he can use like a sword, axe, bow, shovel, and even hoe if they can figure out something for it. He could have some move to build blocks on the stage maybe as a shield or just as obstacles, which now that I think about it could be completely overpowered if it's not just a shield, so maybe we should leave it at that. And his final smash could be something crazy like the Ender Dragon or maybe a Nether portal where they go to get blown up by a ghast. Since the game has endless possibilities, there are nearly endless possibilities for Steve's moveset, and even if he's not added as a fighter, he could at least be a cool Mii fighter costume where it's just the Mii with his head and a diamond sword. We live in a crazy world where I think this has a better chance of happening than Waluigi, but almost everyone does at this point, to be fair. And now, last but definitely not least, the character who I think has almost no chance, yet for some reason I still think he will be added as DLC. I'll just cut straight to the chase, Master Chief. Yes, I'm serious. I know this probably has less than a 1% chance of actually happening, but seeing as Nintendo and Microsoft have become buddy-buddy over the past few years and the release of Halo 5 on the Xbox Series X at the end of 2020, I'm not going to say it's impossible. Also, can we quickly talk about how the Xbox Series X might be one of the worst titles for a brand new console I have ever heard? This would be a great marketing strategy for both of these companies. Nintendo gets a gaming icon from Microsoft to draw new fans over to buy a Switch and Smash, while Microsoft gets free publicity to Nintendo fans who might become interested and buy the new Xbox and play Halo. I don't know how well Master Chief would fit in Smash because I can't really picture him and Jigglypuff throwing hands, but I thought the same thing about Snake and I got used to that, so I'm sure it could work. With all the different weapons he can use from just a classic gun to an energy sword, his moveset could be incredibly diverse. I know, and I cannot stress this enough, that this is a dumb idea, but I just can't shake the feeling that they're just gonna do it. We got the Impossible Banjo DLC fighter, and even Undertale got representation, so you cannot tell me Halo doesn't deserve something. So those are the 5 fighters that I personally believe are the most likely to be added as DLC in a potential Fighters Pass 2. Some of them are a bit more likely than others, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't really be shocked by any of them, and they pretty much all make sense. Except Master Chief. That would still be fucking crazy. But like I said earlier, let's quickly run over a few honorable mentions of characters who I think still have a decent chance to be added, but I just don't think they're as likely as those other 5 for one reason or another. Rayman has been heavily requested for years, and I think everyone remembers the fake leak for Smash 4 that actually convinced a lot of people. He could have tons of moves based off any of his adventures, so I think he would be relatively easy to develop with just that as a basis. I honestly could easily see Rayman making the cut, but I just don't think he is quite popular or iconic enough to make the roster. Gino is the popular choice that I used to totally be pulling for to make the roster, but I've slowly gotten less and less confident. I still think he could be one of the most unique fighters using all of his beam attacks from Mario RPG, but the thing that kills him is that he really isn't an icon of gaming at all. He was only ever playable in that one game, and even though he always appears near the top of fan vote lists, the average player is going to have no idea who the hell this walking puppet with a gun is. I always see Shantae's name get thrown around in DLC videos, but I just don't see it happening. Yes, she is relatively popular, but she is not nearly a gaming icon. Her first game is so rare that it's the most expensive Game Boy Color game of all time. That just shows nobody played her games back in the day. I will admit it would be cool, and I do think we need some more female fighters since it's kind of a sausage fest over here right now, but Shantae is not that likely in my eyes. Paper Mario is another character that I would just love, but with all the backlash his games have received recently, I'm not sure Nintendo wants to do that. His moveset could be amazing using all of his badges and partners, but let's be honest, they probably would just ruin it and make him use stickers, so maybe they should just avoid this altogether. And lastly, just some characters I would personally love with no real chance to ever make it: Bandana Waddle Dee, Doomslayer, Sephiroth, Girahim/Demise, either one works, Waluigi for the meme, and Goku because he is the character I will forever say has absolutely no way, no how, 0% chance of ever being added. Smash Ultimate's DLC fighters have been way more hyped up and way more exciting than Smash 4's DLC fighters, and I really hope they can keep that up. These reveals always bring the community together, and let's just hope that we can get an amazing reveal sometime in the near future because I think we are all waiting for something to just completely blow our minds. Alright, I cannot wait to see what Sakurai has in store for us this time. Better be something good. No way. It can't be. What the f***?